What's happening? What it is? What it is? Your boy NorthsideForty. We is here live. Digiwaxx Penthouse. We got Manolo Rose in the building.
Hey yo, what's the word, man?
Man, I fuck with that name. How you come up with that name?
It's just a flip on one. One is Manny from Scarface. His name is Manolo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being that he was more cerebral, more smooth. You know what I mean? More methodical, a thinker.
Right.
Juxtaposed to, to Tony.
So where the rose part come from?
The rose part is a duality on life. You know what I mean? You place roses on graves when people die. You also give roses to people when they're alive that symbolize that you love them, you care about them,
You know what's crazy? I've been a rose type of nigga since I was a kid, and I never knew why until I grew up, and it's a lot of other reasons and stuff.
Right.
But you from Brooklyn, right?
Right. I'm from Brooklyn.
What part?
I'm from Marcy. I'm from the Star. You know what I mean? I'm also from Far Rockaway.
What was your upbringing like growing up in those parts of Brooklyn?
Well, just like any other typical kid that's growing up in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Especially at that time, in the early 2000s and so forth and so on. And anywhere that poverty exists, violence exists, you know what I mean? And criminality exists. So, but it's also a lot of love was there as well. A lot of good community, people stuck together. You know what I mean? Things of that nature.
Was the poverty the reason why you got into music, or was music always around? Because some people use music as an escape.
Nah, that wasn't the reason. You know what I mean? Because I got more into music just because just the love of the art. You know what I mean? The art form itself. Being a creative person. You know what I mean? But being in an impoverished environment, that did not influence me to I want to get out. So let me try to write a song. Nah.
So was it you yourself that put yourself on the music, or was you influenced by something like growing up?
Yeah, definitely. My older brother, he made music. He was in a rap. You know what I mean? So those things definitely, that influenced me. At the same time, living in Marcy at that time, you're talking about Hove and, you know what I mean? And all of these type of things, big, and you know what I mean? This is all happening. So, you know what I mean? So that definitely influence. I'm directly in that environment as it's happening.
So I don't have no parts in Marcy. Of course, I ain't grow up in Marcy.
Right.
Was there an influx of niggas trying to chase what Hove had, being from Marcy, or was it niggas just out there just doing their own thing?
I mean, you could say that if you're saying because other people may have rap, everybody wants to be up there, right?
Right.
So of course, I mean. That is the benchmark, you know what I mean? Jay is the benchmark, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely that. At the same time, everybody there just doing their thing, you know what I mean? Nobody wasn't really I'm trying to, I never really heard nobody say that out of their mouth. Pause. I never heard nobody say, I want to be I want to be like, I never really heard that, but
you can almost guess that's what niggas is
right.
Towards.
Come on, nobody want to be under that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what really when you started music, what was your feedback? What was the feedback that you was getting from a lot of people? Was it firsthand people that you knew? Was it people outside of the circle that you knew? What was the feedback? What was the push?
Well, definitely, it was definitely people outside and inside my circle. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, those things were happening basically simultaneously. You know what I mean? So that's what made me even propel me to keep going forward. When you're seeing people, don't worry about it.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, definitely. So both of those things were happening at the same time. So that's what kind of, propelled me to keep going forward. Because you got the homies they can relate because it's our own stories that we're telling.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then you also have people that's on the outside looking in. And they know you personally, or they may not know you personally, but they know they can relate to what's being said, you know what I mean, in the music.
So it's safe to say that when you started music, social media wasn't a big thing?
Nah, it just kind of started taking off, you know what I mean? So I guess it was, because you still already had Twitter and all of that.
Right,
and Instagram was already in existence. So, but... it was just, I feel like it was just starting to have its influence. You're talking about 2015, 2016. So it just started to have its, it started to hit that mark. where it started to take people forward. You know what I mean?
So did you have to have your own evolution in that, or was that something that you just kind of molded into? Because a lot of people, they're not privy to like the social media game and don't know how to run their shit and market it through there. Was that something that you had in your toolbox?
Nah, definitely had to learn it as I went along. You know, because in music, in this entertainment period, you know, there's nobody to really. There's some goal you learn as you go in this shit, right? It don't come with no book to tell you, hey, this is how you do this, how you do that. Because even when you read a book on entertainment, there's still so many other aspects and things that's in it that you stumble over, you know?
Because they come out with part 2s and 3s.
Right. You know what I mean? So. Because especially now as technology changed and as everything definitely now is different where, you know, everything's algorithm driven now. So now, it's you know, these companies then took a lot more control over what is being shown and how it's being shown. Right, you know what I mean? Even with that now, it's a whole new game that you got to learn within the social media world that's already in creation already. You know what I mean? So that's crazy.
So what was how did you become hip to, I don't want to just like, I'm trying not to just say Instagram because that was like one of the most things, but TikTok now. People are just now starting to really utilize Facebook.
Right.
Promoted on Facebook, but now they're starting to utilize Facebook. So what was some of the steps that you took for you to fall into that role, to know how to put yourself out there and get noticed?
You know, one of the things I had to realize and learn is that you had to learn how to package and sell something, whatever that may be. You know what I mean? And that's your
message.
You know what I mean? That's whatever your lifestyle is and whatever you're trying to promote, whatever your message is going to be, and you center your message around that and be able to package that, sell that to people.
So is social media something that you harp on now, or are you just get streams by any means possible?
Nah, it's definitely, I mean, it's definitely something you have to use. You know, it exists. So anything that's in existence, you got to be able to use it to your advantage. You know what I mean? And manipulate it in a way where it's beneficial for you, right? At the same time, you also have to be at things like this where you're still around human beings, you know, and you're getting real, you know, having real conversations with people. So you can have that also. That part of it is also important too. So you have to play both things at the same time. It's not a one or the other thing.
Listen, we got Manolo Rose in the building. Let people know what you got coming up next, where we can find you, what's going on, so we can stay in tune.
Yeah, definitely. You can find me on Instagram at MANOLO_ROSE. Same thing on Facebook, same thing on X without the underscore. You know what I mean? You can check out the joint I dropped, Winter Wars. You know what I mean? Just dropped another joint called Biggie and Faith. I'm gonna play that here tonight. And then we got this other joint called Ice Cups and Sundresses that's coming out. You know what I mean? That's gonna be on the radar soon.
All the names alone would make you want to tune out. I'm telling you, the name of Manolo Rose is so fire, but Ice Cup and Sundresses, you know why the fuck we outside.
Yeah, for sure.
You know why we outside. Hey, yo, listen.
For sure.
Manolo Rose, Northside40, Digiwaxx, Penthouse, we live, we here, we is in effect. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned.